achievement for the Sydney City Club to have the captains of the two national sides, Australia and New Zealand, Fittler and Barnett. And this New Zealand side will take plenty of confidence in after the Anzac Day test this year. Australia won that 20-14, and the Kiwi lineup tonight is Barnett, Vangana and Vainikolo on the wings, Wiki and Talau the centres, Paul and Jones the halves, and the forwards Swan, Kearney, Rua, Smith, Henry, Paul and Joe Vangana. The coach, Frank Endicott. And now the national anthems for both nations performed by Judd Arthur.
Australia's sons, let us rejoice, for we are young and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is good by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing, advance Australia fair. God of nations, at thy feet, in the bonds of love we meet. Hear our voices, we entreat. God defend our free land. God Pacific's triple star, from the shafts of strife and war, may her praises tread afar. God defend New Zealand.
He's done a fine job, Judd Arthur, member of the New Zealand Opera Company. And now we stand by for the New Zealand haka. We'll bring Peter and Paul in just a moment with their tips for tonight. I've got a feeling the Kiwis might just do the business tonight. And this is the start of it. The Australians are positioned on the 40-metre line. They're going to eye off the Kiwis. Well, Peter Sterling, your thoughts on tonight?
Well, Andrew, I think that the New Zealanders come here almost as favourites. Quite a few more test matches to their credit. They do have the Paul brothers, that's a plus. I've got no doubt the Australians can get the job done. I expect the young guns, Kamali, Gidley, Richardson, all to play a starring role tonight.
I think Australia look to Brad Fittler once again to be their star. They've got some good forwards up front, but the Kiwis, look out for those Paul brothers. We've seen what they can do in the past for their country. They come off last weekend playing for Bradford. They're in form and they're fit.
Englishman Russell Smith in charge of this one. We're underway, the Tri-Nation Series. The spotlight back on international football. Craig Smith, the physical hitter, back to the 20-metre line, and three Australian defenders there to meet him. Craig Gower. You must wonder if there's any more determined player out there tonight than Craig after the incident that led to his omission from the Australian side earlier this year. And there's an army of defenders up there on Vangana. Big Joe on the 30-metre line, he's lost it. And that is the call of Smith.
Yeah, Rodney Howe's been penalised for pushing the ball out. I think it's a good decision from Russell Smith. See the big number 10 there. The right arm goes in and no doubt knocks the ball out. New Zealand fine touch, 45 out. Paul taking the tap.
And up they come. Vangana's second touch of the football, and this time there's 4 defenders there. Fittler is called in over the top. Kosev there in 12. We saw a shot of Nick during the haka. Steely look on his eyes, on his face, and 35 metres out. The Kiwis attack to the left with Jones, and then across for Robbie Paul, and then on for Willie Talau, the Bulldogs centre. And Robbie Paul, he scored after 3 minutes in the Anzac Day test. On the inside comes the Volcano, Vainikolo. 20 metres out. The Kiwis with first use of the ball, and on the attack, Jones's pass up for Rua. Matthew Rua playing his second test tonight, but the first one in the starting lineup. Last tackle. Stacey Jones, a deft kick. Back inside, well read by Jason Smith. He copped a shot there from Richie Barnett. But very cool there, Jason Smith.
Yes, strong tackle here on Robbie Ross from Stephen Kearney, and the natives are restless.
Shut up. Right, shoulder. Shut up, Stephen. Don't, Jace. Don't come in. Don't come in. The whistle means I'm going to do something about it, okay?
What's that, they're allowed to swing arms?
Yep.
They're allowed to swing arms.
No, I've got him. That's how I've got it. I've just telling him not to come in, Brad. Stephen. It's all right, Richie. Stephen. Listen. Well, come on then. Let's concentrate. Let's get him lower.
Well, the referee certainly taking control early on, telling Brad Fittler and the boys that I've blown the penalty. It's going your way. I'll have a word with Stephen Kearney. But a nice fiery start to this one, as is expected.
Well, they've come ready to rumble, the Kiwis, no doubt about it, and Rodney Howe gets over the 40-metre line. And infield they come. Darren Brett, this time last year, made his test debut. 2 tests at the end of '98. After Canterbury's amazing run to the grand final. Here is Fletcher, pushed back, playing his second test tonight. Paul was there in defence. That was Henry, playing hooker. And Fittler running to the Kiwis' 30-metre line. And it does appear still streaming into Ericsson Stadium. We've certainly got probably around the 20,000 mark. And the Aussies are 25 metres out. Kamali, Clive Churchill medal winner. A mix-up there between Smith and his centre. That was Gidley. And New Zealand back in possession with Vainikolo.
Yeah, this match has started very, very fast, a frenetic pace, and I suppose both coaches would be concerned with the fitness of their charges out there tonight. A lot of these players stopped playing probably 2 months ago. Another penalty now goes to New Zealand. And a quick tap taken by Richie Barnett. So I'm sure that there'll be plenty of interchange tonight.
Pitches tonight coming courtesy of Sky New Zealand. Our thanks to them. And Henry Paul, so effective in that test match earlier this year. That doesn't count as part of the tri-series, though. Australia's win. It did go down to the wire, 20 points to 14. Quick play the ball. Stacey Jones is off for the Kiwis. He's 20 metres out. Jones on the inside ball. There's defence there. They won't stop him. Willie Talau bulldozes his way over. And what a start from New Zealand.
A great start for the home team, looking for their first test win here at Ericsson Stadium, and Willie Talau has got them off on the right note. Brilliant effort from Stacey Jones, a smart run out of dummy half. We've seen Henry Paul make some good darts already in this game. Stacey Jones stepped in, the defence still going backwards. Lovely little bit of footwork here to beat a couple of defenders, and then the one-handed offload. He was wrapped up Talau, but he shrugged through a couple of defenders to get across early in this game.
Yeah, it was brilliant stuff, wasn't it, from this mercurial halfback. This is his home ground. This is where the Auckland Warriors play. He knows it very well. Some sluggish defence there from the Aussies. And Talau's always been a straight, hard runner, and the hands go up. The fans love it.
They're quite embarrassing here for Jason Smith. He gets beaten twice, the number 13. There's the first miss, and he does have a good shot on the try scorer coming over the top. Got shrugged off. And Talau, the strong Canterbury centre, scores adjacent to the posts.
And it was his first test try. Henry Paul, 6 back. That'll shake you up off the lounge chairs at home. 6-0 to New Zealand. It was 6-0 after 3 minutes in the Anzac test, and it was Stacey Jones who set up the try for Robbie Paul. Tonight it's Jones for Talau. And a thrill for the young Bulldog centre, scoring his first test try. Here is Matt Rua. Not so long ago was re-signed with the Melbourne Storm for another 3 years. And here is Henry Paul away. 50 15 metres inside their own half. Dummy half running proving damaging at the moment. Damaging to the Australian defence. Here's Vangana. Able to dump a pass back on the bounce for Jones, and they keep it alive. That's Kearney. He spun away from the attempted tackle of Kamali. He doesn't miss too many. Inside they come with Smith. He flicks it out the back for Jones. They keep it alive. New Zealand, plenty of confidence with Kearney. Inside the 40, around the corner for Rua. It's like an ambush from New Zealand early. Last tackle. End of the right. Jones's kick. As Saylor turned around, coming through for the Kiwis, it's Vangana. That's Nigel. Robbie Ross has cut it off. But all the pressure is on the green and gold at the moment.
It's a wonderful start for the Kiwis. The forwards looking to offload. A brilliant pass from Stephen Kearney as Rodney Howe gets bumped backwards. And then the back line linking nicely. Deft kick through, put pressure on Robbie Ross. There's Darren Britt being poleaxed inside his own 20.
The two front rowers, it was Smith and Joe Vangana. And now Fletcher. Sydney City's second rower. Made his debut off the bench earlier this year. Kamali kicks from inside the 30. And contrary to some reports in papers today back home in Australia, the 40-20 rule does apply in tonight's Tri-Nations match. Richie Barnett, a dummy half for New Zealand. Skipper of this Kiwi side for the first time. Kamali's there in defence, front on with Fletcher and Smith. And 40 metres out. This tackle count. A worry early for the Australian side, but it's been the speed of the New Zealand play and the skill. 6 missed tackles for the Aussies. And the Kiwis with it, 29 metres out. And to the left they come. That's Robbie Paul in the 6. Inside there for Kearney. I don't think he's gone to ground yet, Stephen Kearney. Then back for Henry Paul. And it's still alive for the Kiwis to the left side. Put down by Talau.
2 knock-ons, lads. No advantage.
Yeah, first mistake of the night there for New Zealand. Some fine play, though. They're really giving this ball some air, aren't they? Throwing it around. It's exciting stuff from them. On that occasion, Talau had changed direction, and he missed it.
Just rest, lads. Just have a minute. Nice and steady.
Both coaches met with Englishman Russell Smith yesterday. Chris Anderson's major concern was the speed of the play the ball that's allowed in England.
And him up one.
And Frank Endicott thought, well, I'll go along to the meeting just to make sure everything's okay. And here is Rodney Howe for the Aussies. 10 metres inside their own half and 6-0 to New Zealand. With Nick Kosef representing the Manly club tonight. And I guess you could say in some ways the last representative from Manly as we know them. On halfway, Australia in possession.
And Paul mentioned the fact that most of these players have not played much football of late. And of course, Nick Kosef, one of 2 players in the Australian lineup not involved in the final series. Craig Gower, the other. Speaking of Gower, he kicks from dummy half, straight to Vainikolo, who heads centre field, beats 1, beats 2. Tremendous run from the young Canberra winger.
The youngest player on show in tonight's Test match is Vainikolo, one of 5 brothers. Smith offloading, his second for the match. Swan is the man in support. Saylor called in off his wing. And Nigel Vangana almost away. He's playing out of position tonight, Nigel Vangana, normally in the centres with the Warriors. That's an impressive start time in possession. Very much weighted towards the Kiwis, 72%. And Kearney is away for New Zealand. Inside the 30-metre line. The support comes. It's Jason Lowry, yet to score a try in 129 NRL matches. He scored for the Kiwis. What a moment for Jason Lowry.
And he's waited a long time, but he's waited for the right time. Under the post in a Test match in front of his home crowd. And again, Stacey Jones was the destroyer. He takes them on, pops the ball to Stephen Kearney, former captain, in fact the youngest man ever to captain an international Test side. He offloads to Jason Lowry, who gallops 20 metres under the post, and he salutes the crowd. Why not?
Yeah. Good on him, good on him. What a great moment in rugby league this is. He's played 600 games for the Onehunga Juniors. He played for 5 Sydney clubs, 18 Test matches, and here he is, his first ever try in rugby league. Look at him go. Good stuff, Jason Lowry. Yeah.
He moves out of maiden company tonight, Jason Lowry, perhaps headed for a big spring carnival.
That's quite amazing. Out of maiden company, in Group 1 company. gets across the line. But beautiful stuff again, and really the offloading, the second phase play from the Kiwis, it is posing too much for the Aussies at the moment.
And here comes another 2 to Paul. It is 12-0 to New Zealand. 12-0. I'm not about to dispute Paul's research that he's done under the Onehunga Club and how many matches Jason played, but for the record, he has played 129 games in Sydney and 12 test matches.
You know, Paul's research wouldn't be wrong, Andrew. Fastidious student of the game. As Craig Smith again takes it forward. So physical and really not handling this at the moment, the green and gold. Darren Smith into the action. As New Zealand go wide again, out to Ruben Wiki.
Ruben Wiki, well, I guess you could say a converted front rower for tonight. He played plenty of prop for the Raiders this season. He's back in the centres for the Kiwis. Rua, the man, tackled on halfway. And right at the moment, the Australians just desperate for some of the ball. Jones's kick from just inside his own half. Rogers goes back safely on the first bounce. Trying to link up with Robbie Ross. There is an army there of New Zealand defenders, and it's the front man who gets there first, Swan. They're revelling in this, New Zealand, in front of their home fans. And now Gower. And up for Howe to pass wide for Fittler. He bumped away from Robbie Paul. Nigel Vunganar came in from the wing. Replacements in the Australian side. Darren Smith is out there. One of the more experienced players that Chris Anderson can call on in what is very much an inexperienced test outfit. Although, having said that, Darren Smith has only played a handful of test matches. Jason Smith, his brother, is kicking there. And that's why.
And you've got to question why he didn't pass the football.
3-man overlap, Pete.
Bainacolo had dropped back 25 metres. As Paul pointed out, there were plenty of players outside him. And he didn't even look, Jason Smith. He was always going to kick the football. And that, for mine, is an opportunity gone begging.
Well, it's very early, but this is backs to the wall stuff. There's Lowry with an offload for Jones. You notice Jason Stevens out there now. The Australian side, a late call-up from the squad that was announced originally for this Tri-Nation series. Henry Paul to the right, and they attack with Nathan Kalis, Parramatta forward, already in his 7th test match. Craig Smith has gone to the bench for the Kiwis, and Robbie Paul pushes along here for Stacey Jones, then for Kearney. Smith was sweating on Kearney receiving the pass. So too Darren Smith with his brother Jason. 25 out to the left, it's Vunganar. Big Joe runs at Jason, he cocked the left arm up. And last tackle, 15 metres out. Barnett for Jones, they're going to kick the Sailors' wing. They're all onside, and Sailor doesn't contest the football. Australia come up with it and over the sideline.
Well, you'd think that New Zealand will get this ball back from the scrum. It was tapped back inside by Vunganar. A nice kick. And Russell Richardson ended up with the football. No choice but to catch it, but look how close he was to touch. And that was easy stuff there for New Zealand to push him over. So another great attacking opportunity for the Kiwis.
15 out at 12-0, they go to the blind side. Jones loses it.
Well, it was. And now Australia's got to shore up. They just need, where's the forwards? They've got to find them, get them into action, hold the football. Sailor goes through.
An 80-metre try and help. Here goes Sailor over halfway. Barnett is in cover. Sailor not able to stand him up. Superb tackle from the Kiwi captain. And Australia remain on the attack. 25 metres out. Well, plenty of players offside there. Smith has played some sort of advantage here. Don't be surprised if he calls it back. Kosef runs straight at Kalis and Swan. Able to offload now with Kamali. He's 15 metres out. They're down by 12. Darren Smith is poleaxed in the tackle of Wiki. And Gower to the right with Kamali. Then for Fittler. Wide ball there for Gidley. He gets away from one for Rogers. Rogers able to stay in the field of the play, now over the sideline. This will be a New Zealand scrum feed.
Well, they are so committed, aren't they? One mistake made by Stacey Jones down the far end cost them 75 metres, a great run from Sailor, but in defence, they've covered that dangerous situation very well. Great run from Sailor. He's like an extra forward out there, been doing it for years for the Broncos and for Queensland, and a wonderful chase there from Richie Barnett, wasn't it?
New Zealand from the scrum win on their own 10-metre line. I mentioned at the top a reasonable crowd. It certainly has built up since kick-off. They're in daylight savings over here, so we commenced in daylight and perhaps a few people late coming, but it's certainly in excess of 20,000.
Andrew, I'd say the news has got around Auckland that they're looting 12-0, so we might see thousands more arrive as yet.
Well, Jason Lowry, this was the night he scored a try. In 20, 30 years' time, there'll be 50,000 say they were here to see it. And he is the man with the ball. Terrific bloke. He's a silent type, Jason Lowry, but he will really revel in that try tonight. And Jones kicks. He's controlling the game beautifully, the number 7 for New Zealand. Rogers is running back now for the green and gold, back to the 20-metre line. The chase has been spot on as well. Terrible play the ball from Rogers. Australia escape with it. It's Gidley. Henry Paul makes the tackle.
Yeah, clever work there from Brett Kamali, kicking the football to his teammates. Otherwise, they would have lost the football. Vella hit high in his first touch. And now Kossev takes it forward. In fact, it's not Kossev, it's Jason Stevens offloading.
A real pummeling here as Sailor's able to make some ground. That time in possession still well in favour of New Zealand. And Australia down by 12 points to 0. First match of the Bartercard Tri-Nation Series. Great Britain will be in action in Brisbane next Friday night. And that kick won't find the line. In fact, it may go dead in goal. Barnett positions himself. Well, the ball had almost come to a complete stop there. Gee, it's a close call.
Well, referee Smith said the ball was still rolling. So it's now a 20-metre tap, so big difference. Was it still rolling? Yeah, there was half a roll left in it.
Ooh, we had this argument earlier this year. I think, Paul, a difference between a rolling ball and a settling ball. A settling ball is a line dropout.
Oh, turn it, Andrew. Settling.
Mick Stone explained that to us. And a reminder about next Friday night. It'll be game 2 of the Tri-Nation Series. We'll be coming to you from Suncorp Stadium, 8:30 for the clash of Australia and Great Britain. And it's been quite some time since those two nations at full strength have met. New Zealand, another penalty outside their 40.
Yeah, Robbie Paul trying to get a quick play of the ball going. Wasn't allowed to by the Australian defence. That's Richardson and Fletcher involved. And the penalty coming Paul's way. So the New Zealand side on the attack once again.
Joe Vunganar took the first hit up. Robbie Paul inside. Kalis unable to keep his feet as he really did slide into the Jason Stevens tackle. Jones attacks the blind side for Kearney. Kearney is away. A third try is coming. A third try is here with Kearney. Busting through tackles. It's a black and white juggernaut tonight in Auckland.
Too big, too strong. It's an inspired Stephen Kearney, all right. Took a while to warm up with his new club, Melbourne, but didn't he finish the season strongly? And that form has continued tonight. The short side raid, Stacey Jones, straight through some pretty ordinary defence, and then Robbie Ross on his Melbourne teammate. Just no match.
Oh, they're running too hard. They're playing a very physical game tonight, and this is sheer strength that gets him through this. He's up against the 12.5, 13-stone halfback, and then Robbie Ross, well, we've seen him pull off miracle tackles like that in the past. Not tonight.
In fact, it was a Melbourne-a-thon, wasn't it? Kearney taking the football forward, comes to Kamali. Stacey Jones offloading to Kearney, straight through the number 7. Then the other Storm teammate. And Stephen Kearney, he'll get enormous satisfaction out of that one, as is evidenced by the arms being raised. Big lead now.
6 Melbourne Storm players in total on show tonight. And look at the faces of the Australian side. Not a whole lot being said either. Henry Paul has the kick from 9 metres in from touch. He's taken it back 20 metres. Henry Paul has made it 3 from 3. Well, look at that scoreline, 18-0. Welcome back. Friday night football, Tri-Nation Series, and New Zealand lead Australia by 18 points to 0. Devastating football in the opening quarter of this match. They've had plenty of possession, but it's what they've done with it. And there's some good players out there missing tackles for the Aussie lineup. Henry Paul, he'll steal another 10. Get them turned around. Vella comes up to make the tackle. Now, with Robbie Paul to halfway. 4 tackles used up. And big Joe Vunganar went to dummy half. Stacey Jones has kicked over the head of Wendell Saylor. Saylor unable to get the ball. It will be an Australian scrum feed, but it will be 10 metres out from their own line.
He's having a fine game, Stacey Jones. Really has blossomed as a footballer. Did captain the Warriors, and I think he enjoyed that responsibility for the short time. Despite the fact he hasn't got a little C next to him out there tonight, he really is leading the way.
Notice in defence from this scrum, Robbie Paul out in the centres for New Zealand. And Australia with it on their own 10-metre line. Yes, Stacey Jones tonight, his 18th Test match. His top shelf. Penalty here to the Australian side inside the 10. Well, he's certainly explaining himself, Russell Smith. And he's identifying the players too. There's a certain personal touch to it all. Here was the penalty. Yeah, Russell Smith is right there. They've taken off the head start. They've blown the blocks. So Australia on the attack, 25 metres out. And Gower was the man at dummy half. They come infield with Fletcher. He runs at an angle and is picked off by the defence. Kalis' first man there. His younger brother Jason played in the junior Kiwi side earlier tonight. Fittler, he's 10 metres out. Able to pass but doesn't find the mark. It's with Rodney Howe. And he's able to bump forward and bump a man off as well. Over the head, he wasn't expecting the pass, Darren Brett. It's play on for Gidley. Gidley was having trouble picking up the accent. They're 15 out. And Darren Smith. Narrow blindside, Rogers, back infield, Kamali fires across for Robbie Ross. The passes, not precise the work of the Aussies with Russell Richardson. Ridden to ground there by 3 Kiwi defenders. Wiki was over the top, Vunganar was low, and now Saylor a dummy half. In absolute desperate need of points. The cross kick from Kamali. Rogers is there, he's lost it. Fielded by Willie Tallau. And again the Kiwi fans go up. Nothing can go wrong for them right at the moment. At 18-0. And they scored in the first 6 minutes tonight. Matt Rogers has had plenty of success on the right wing for Cronulla.
And a problem for Darren Smith coming back into the defensive line very slowly. In fact, he's coming to the sideline now. Looks like a shoulder injury. As the charge continues on, Ruben Wiki, as Andrew pointed out, played most of this season in the front row. Doesn't look as though he's having any trouble slotting back into the centre position. Long kick there. Robbie Ross will field in his in-goal area.
And back come Rogers. I'm counting the defenders. There were 6 there on the chase. Rogers, he just ducked at the right moment, really, because Tallau was throwing his 95-kilo frame into the tackle. Here is Gidley. They've had no room at all, Gidley and Richardson so far. Missed tackle count right now. Still a big gap there between Australia and New Zealand, 13-4. And the Aussies on that previous attacking raid, well, what, 3 or 4 passes went to ground. And now back with Kamali, and up to the right with Fletcher. There was a call on the inside. It was Robbie Ross coming through. That is Darren Smith on the sideline.
Yeah, he's got a problem with his right shoulder. Craig Gower nearly getting through, but a good tackle on the last tackle by Craig Smith.
Up on the back rowers, up on the back rowers.
And infield now with the captain, Richie Barnett. He gets away from Kamali it was, and then away from Smith. Jason Smith has come again in defence. I don't think they've finished their scoring for this half by any means, New Zealand. And the try-scoring wizard is back out there, Jason Lowry now. He's just trotted back into the fray. Smith hammers it up and has lost the ball in the Howe tackle.
Yeah, big tackle there from Rodney Howe. He sprinted out of the line, made the hit and then stole the ball.
Gidley, that has been knocked down by Vanacola. It'll be a knock-on against New Zealand. What do you think Matthew Gidley is feeling right at the moment, and Russell Richardson? Rookie centres at this level.
Well, I think they're looking for a little bit of of direction from people around them who've been there a little bit longer. I think they're going okay. I think with limited opportunities, they have been a little bit of a problem for the New Zealand defence. But as Paul pointed out earlier, really, Australia needs some quality possession. They need to string together a couple of sets of 6, and that's not going to help Brad Fittler knocking on from the scrum win.
Well, that makes it even harder. Nothing going right for the Aussies at all tonight. Brad Fittler, you go through another 3 seasons before he'll do something like this. Just took his eyes off the ball at the last moment, thinking about where he was going to pass it or where he was going to step to. But Australia need a couple of forwards to stand up and start to dominate. At this stage, the forward battle, it's been all New Zealand, of course, with Kearney and Joe Vangana. They're the dominating pair there at the moment.
This is Lowry. A little unload there for Robbie Paul. And Craig Smith musters full speed quickly to halfway. Great exhibition of bright attacking football from New Zealand. Logan Swan that time was flat-footed. Good news, Darren Smith ready to come back. And here's Lowry. He wants every second hit up at the moment. Jason, he's still standing there. A wrestling match over the top with Kosef. Knock back there for Henry Paul. And forward they go with Craig Smith. A star of the Dragons' march to the grand final is the lone Dragon in tonight's international. And that's a sore point with the red and white army. Richie Barnett cut down in the tackle of Kosef. And last it is 35 out. And 18-0. Stacey Jones has kicked. Again, he's found space between Ross and Rogers. Doesn't get the bounce he would have wanted. And Ross comes back. And straight away from Talau goes Robbie Ross. He turns Jones around and has cut down 5 inside his own half. Again, it was Barnett in cover. And now Smith. Kamali. I think a cry came out along the line from Smith. It ends up with Saylor. You can't go any wider. And now Front is inside the New Zealand half. Back infield, Rodney Howe. Darren Lockyer is now out there to the Australian side. There's a big front-on tackle from Lowry. He didn't quite get hold of Fletcher, but the initial impact was quite shuddering. And now Fittler, 20 metres out. He's almost able to bump away from Smith. He's inside the 20, but they've eaten up 5 tackles. And with Kamali, the kick is their only option. Henry Paul gets back there. Well, that did appear to be grounded at first attempt. He's allowed play to continue in the field of play.
It did look that way, but maybe there was no Australian hand on him, so they didn't deem it a tackle, and he just got up and kept going. But good stuff there, good defence there from the Kiwis. We've seen them in the past when they've been under pressure on their own line. We've seen them fold, but so far not tonight. Let's have a look again. Paul gets it, he tries to get back into the field of play, he falls off a tackler and gets up and goes again. Yeah,
he wasn't held. I think he had every right to improve his position, although that did come at the end of probably Australia's best set of 6 during the course of this test so far. This is the last tackle. Stacey Jones off to Lowry, he'll get one away.
Well, that's his first kick as well tonight.
And it's a torpedo.
It's novelty night. Tries, kicking for touch. What can't he do?
Look at the work here on Saylor. And a big net over the top of Wendell. He was well and truly caught. This is Richardson. Able to bounce away from David Kidwell. 2 young setters. A young shark and a young eel. Watch this tackle on Saylor. Kidwell came over the top and then gets a second shot at him.
I reckon there's been a mistake here.
With that error, we'll take a break. 18-0 here at Ericsson Stadium. The Bartercard Tri-Nation Series at 18-0. High tackle here against Brad Fittler.
I've told him, in the scrum, you've got to get a bit lower.
The pitch is courtesy of Sky New Zealand tonight. This crowd really enjoying the evening so far. And here was the run of Kidwell. It's Fittler's left arm which creeps up, gets him around the throat. Hard to argue with any of Russell Smith's calls at the moment, any of his line ball decisions. He seems to have been right on the money. And again, I stress I'm impressed. He's explaining himself to the players. He's not talking down to them. Stacey Jones, short pass delivered there for Nathan Kalis. 30 metres out. the Australian line, and Henry Paul at first receiver for his brother Robbie. Their teammates at Bradford. Logan swatters away. They're not going to stop the Kiwis. Sailor does. But Kidwell may have got there. They play it quickly. And it's play on for New Zealand. Now Henry Paul passing for Rua. They're 5 metres out. This is as scramble as it gets in defence for the Aussies.
Well, that was the test match there. They'd have scored. They still might. Stacey Jones on the last. Oh, great kick. Carlo dropped the football.
It cleared the head of Matt Rogers. And he's lost it cold. Vainikolo. A try on a platter for the big winger.
Well, I wonder whether that will come back to haunt New Zealand at all. I really thought that Kidwell was certain to score here. Logan Swanee may well have gone himself, but he offloaded to Kidwell, and Wendell Sailor somehow stopped him from getting over the line, and the Australians did marvellously well in the next flurry to stop them. Vainikolo only appeared to have to catch the football. Matt Rogers may well have been penalised for tackling Vainikolo in the air.
Yeah, that's a close one against Matt Rogers there. He knew he was beaten, and he just turned around and tried to make the tackle, and I don't think there's any question Vainikolo was in mid-air. Now Sailor's chasing this kick. It's Vangana and Sailor, and it beats them over the sideline.
Well, Australia to get back into this match, they've got to score before half-time, and I reckon just looking at the way the match has gone, that they have got a try in them before half-time. New Zealand, for mine, are starting to tire somewhat. A few walkers in defence. And if Australia's, if they can keep holding onto the football, playing out their sets of 6, then I think they'll definitely score before half-time.
I am of the belief, Paul, as I just pointed out, that if New Zealand do score next, it's all over. 3 converted tries at the moment is probably an obvious statement, but anything more than that, I think it's too much for the Australians to gather in. If they can get something on the board before the break, that would have to lift them for the second 40.
And at the moment, New Zealand just coming away from their 20-metre line. Rua, good shot there from Jason Stevens on the Melbourne Storm forward. As more starts off the bench this year than starting appearances. Vangana proves a handful. Well, he wasn't to his feet when he tried to play it. He should be penalised. Well, he's penalised the Australians. I would have... Well, I'll say this. I think an Australian referee would have penalised Joe Vangana for not getting to his feet to play the ball.
Yeah, well, it's one of those 50-50 ones, but as he was trying to get up, Jason Smith did pull him back. It's a lack of discipline by the Aussies.
Yeah, I think he got that exactly right, Russell Smith. I reckon he was to his feet. I just think that the speed of the play, the ball is proving too tough for the Australians to stop, and that was another case in point.
Gidley about to return from a short stint on the bench. The Kiwis have lost it here, then Kosef has done likewise.
Wait, lads. OK, no advantage there.
Australian scrum feed from Russell Smith. Just on the score of experience tonight, test experience, the 2 lineups, New Zealand across their 17 can boast 152 test matches, and the Australian side just 61, and a large proportion of those test matches played by Brad Fittler, who tonight is playing his 25th test. So it's new look in every sense of the expression for this Australian side. And here they come wide with Lockyer, and inside for Rogers. Nice drifting defence there from the Kiwis. Robbie Paul got across. And here's Fittler on the inside for Sailor. He's been the most potent player in attack for the green and gold. He's away again. 30 metres out. And he's coming off the left wing to do all that damage, to create some havoc. And Kamali, he's 20 metres out. Fatty sensed there was a try on the Australian side. Well, this is the time. They're 12 out. 4 minutes out from half-time, and they're down by 18. Fittler, big step off the right. It deceived Willie Tallow. And now 5 out. Back infield with Kamali. Not a good ball. Fielded there by Smith. There's a chance here on the left for Richardson. He steps inside from Vangana. Gidley, in fact, is over. Started the match on the right side. He's come back on the left. And Gidley, on debut, has come up with a 4-pointer.
And such an important 4-pointer for the Australian team. Paul pointed out once again, they were starting to look a little bit more dangerous with the football. A good break again from Wendell Sailor set things up. He's just been a one-man band at the moment for the green and golds. Looking for an offload there, decided to take the play of the ball. Nice work out wide here from Jason Smith. The defence coming up very quickly from the home team. He let them go through the dummy, picked off Russell Richardson. He still had 12 metres to go. The left foot step on 2 occasions, dived in underneath. The Australians on the board, on the stroke of.
Yeah, and they needed it, no doubt about it. The game could have been all over. But well done with Matthew Gidley. All the Aussies, they were patient with that set of 6. The New Zealand defence starting to tire. A few hands on hips. And a very important kick, this one, from Matty Rogers.
He's had a good game, Matthew Gidley. Been trying conditions out there. Interesting, too, that Chris Anderson, bringing Lockett into the game, has decided to put him into the centres and leave Robbie Ross at fullback.
Rogers' kick from 20 metres out has come off the upright, so 18-4. First match of the Bartercard Tri-Nation Series. And that try by Matthew Gidley on debut. And I guess there's some people back who represent the West Newcastle club. I would be very proud of his achievement tonight.
Yeah, and I do apologise for, along with Andrew, I suppose, calling him Russell Richardson. But they do look very similar out there, the centres. Same builds. At times they run with the same kind of action.
So the final 2 of this first half. And the restart of play is going to find the line. Oh, boy. Just when you get back on top, and Gidley has gone from good news to bad news.
Well, that is sloppy stuff there from the Aussies. They start the long haul back and then a mistake, and that gives New Zealand a minute now, a minute and a bit to maybe put some more points on the board.
Just noticed there on the restart with a big Bartercard insignia on the ground, the halfway line actually disappears. Stacey Jones is away, and the Kiwis, they will score. It's Vandenaar in the corner. What a strike back after the Gidley try.
Well, we'll go to the video referee, I would imagine, here, as Russell Smith has done, but I don't think there's too much doubt. There are still Australian defenders out there falling for Stacey Jones' dummy at the moment. He threw one, 5 players went in an opposite direction. And I would say that New Zealand have every right to be very, very confident that they have taken advantage of the mistake from the restart. Yes, 100%, 4 points.
Well, you couldn't believe it, could you? I mean, the Aussies, they do well to score before half-time. 18-4 is, you know, they're a chance to win the match. There's the green light. And a minute later, they're back to that 18-point deficit. And the way Henry Paul's kicking, who's to say it won't be 20, but beautiful stuff, wasn't it, from Stacey Jones? What a player he is. He's getting better as he gets more experience. International Rugby League really suits him. Look at the dummies. There's 3, 4, 5 players have tried to get him. They've all missed, and it's well finished off in the end.
It's a quick fall down the mountain for Matthew Gidley. Scoring his first try and then not gathering the ball in. He's probably not the sole player responsible from the restart. That has to be stressed, but all the same, as Fatty said, sloppy was the word, and haven't they paid a price?
Yeah, he was the last player to touch the football, Gidley, but he didn't get a lot of help from players around him, and it was a nice restart. It was a good kick, a difficult one to take, and New Zealand have been good enough to take advantage of that 60 seconds when they probably shouldn't have had the football.
And Paul's kick from right on the sideline. And need I say more? Yet another 2. And they reckon they had problems with their goal kicking. What a half of football from New Zealand. An amazing half. They lead by 20. Opening game of the Tri-Nation Series. 24 points to 4. We'll take a break and then be back with second half action. Steve Kearney, wow of a first half. Scored a try. Powered his way through a couple of defenders. The Paul brothers again have been very good. Robbie and Henry, where they were stars in the Anzac Test, it's been other players tonight who have stepped up onto the platform. Ready then for the second half. We're underway. And 20 points is the deficit. We've gone to the record books at half-time. And Australia's biggest test loss ever was 49-25 against the Kiwis back in 1952 in Brisbane. So 24 points is the biggest losing margin ever in a test match.
And the Australian coach, Chris Anderson, has told his players, as Jason Smith makes a good charge of 10 metres. But they need to regain their composure. That will pick up their confidence. He's looking for some second phase play, and he wants his little men to get into dummy half and speed up the play as much as possible. That's the plan for the second 40. Vainikolo up against Rogers. Vainikolo picks up 8 metres.
Stacey Jones, Vainikolo. Impressive tonight. He's a player who can make an error at times, but tonight he's been very safe. He almost scored a try from a cross kick. Tackle there from Britt. There was a call of lower Rodney from referee Russell Smith. Kiwis with it. Vangana just short of halfway. To the right with Craig Smith. Powerhouse performance from the two front rowers, Smith and Joe Vangana. Here was the hit on Wiki. Yeah, Howe crept up high. Got the running caution from Russell Smith. In the meantime, a kick down to Wendell Saylor. Interesting dummy there from Wendell. There's a dummy to throw a 20-metre pass infield to Darren Lockyer. And Russell Richardson chopped down in the tackle of Rua. And Gower, infield they come. Quick hands there from Britt. Fletcher's been a constant worker for the Australian side. I dare say their best forward tonight. Gower over the 40-metre line. Flat pass there for Gidley. Lone Australian try scorer in the first half. They would have went feeling reasonably good going to half-time on the back of Gidley's try. The only problem was the Kiwis scored straight after, 60 seconds from half-time. And Kamali on the last is going to try a high ball on Richie Barnett. Getting across is Vangana. Barnett safe at the back for the Kiwis in his first match as captain. And a couple of very good tackles as last line of defence in the first half as well from Richie Barnett. So another player that's very hard to fault tonight. Matt Rua to the 30-metre line. Here's the take of Richie Barnett. There's plenty coming through. Vangana was the protection for his fullback.
He's such a versatile player, isn't he, Richie Barnett, as Kiwis go wide through Logan Swan. Tonight he's at fullback, played most of his test football on the wings, and he's had a good season with Sydney City, with much of that being in the centre position. So really you can slot him in anywhere and know he'll get the job done. Stacey Jones on the last, a hurried kick away. Matt Rogers on the first bounce.
It's probably his worst kick of the night, that one from Stacey Jones. Enables Australia to start this attack a little further out from their goal line than they've had to do previously tonight. Here's Rogers away. That's what Chris Anderson wanted, some dummy half running, some of the speed men in tight. And Rogers made 15 on that occasion. Fletcher. Quick hands on for Fittler, taking on Stacey Jones, and Jones makes the tackle. Good please him and his coach, no end. And Darren Britt. Forward. Turned 30 last week, Darren Britt. And playing his third test tonight. Now Kosef. Inside there for Fletcher. I don't know just about hit-out counts, but I'd like to know his number of possessions tonight. Brian Fletcher, he seems to have handled the ball as much as the halfback in 5'8". Kamali, last tackle, they resort to the high ball yet again. This time it's a scramble for possession. It was lost by Richardson. I think...
First defence and knocked on off your...
First instant there, Richardson was claiming he was tackled before he got the ball.
I was going to play a zero tackle. The first offence was an Aussie knock on. The penalty's for Malfi.
The penalty is...
Oh, he's made this up. This is a G-up. Fair dinkum. I think he's been caught out there. I think he was going to penalise him for stealing the ball. Then he realised it was one-on-one. So he's made something up about knock-ons and then mouthing off. Ace it up.
Nothing was the call from Russell Smith.
So in that period of play, basically what he did say was the Australians knocked on, and the referee said there was no advantage for the New Zealand team. And that's why he didn't allow Kamali to go on, and then somebody's had something to say.
So here go the Kiwis again with Craig Smith. I'd just about say he finished the year as the #1 front rower in the game, judging by his performances in the final series. I think even the likes of Shane Webke would concede that. Here's Barnett, all class with a short kick. He's back with it. Ross gets across. Vainikolo. Ross makes the tie saver. Vainikolo. Photo finish in the corner. This will be as close as it gets.
Yeah, it'll be another video referee. Robbie Ross, he did a good job, but we're about to see. I think Vainikolo had every right to get up and put the ball over, and I think that he's done it.
Yeah, I've gone for 3 things: grounding, possible double movement, and possibly in touch.
Well, there's no double movement. He's not the Australian defender's not touching Vainikolo. So he's allowed to get up. Has he gone in touch? Gee.
How close can you get?
I'd like to have another look.
Oh, you'll need half a dozen looks at this one. Oh, geez, as he grounded the ball before his elbows hit the corner post. That's the question. Does the ball get down before the elbow touches the corner post? Or the arm? Oh, how do you call it?
I tend to think that he has touched the corner post just a nanosecond before getting the football down.
If you want my 10 cents worth, I think maybe his lower body has come into contact with the sideline before the corner post, before he grounds it. I think impossible to call conclusively this one. Doesn't help that the corner post was on a slant to begin with.
So do we think this come back to a ref's call here?
20 metre.
He's in a real no try. Judging by Russell Smith's 20-metre call.
Yep. Was it on the last tackle, Chris?
Well, it's not going to be a try.
Which means that the ruling is that he has hit the corner post and been taken into touch, and that's why we would have a 20-metre restart. In fact, we've got a scrum.
I've just checked on that, actually.
Yeah,
he's checked and he's not sure on the count.
On our Sky New Zealand replay, I just got a feeling that his body has actually touched the sideline short of the corner post, short of him grounding the football. But conclusively, you can't say that. Having watched, you're just a feeling that he did that. The laws of probability. So a let off for the Aussies. There's, well, you've got to say, I suppose, still in it, but 20 points is the margin. And the longer they go without scoring this in this second half, the clock is against them.
And another big rap there for Richie Barnett. Class play. Saw a little bit of space in behind the defensive line. Put the grubber through, regathered, and offloaded almost for a try as Darren Britt takes it forward. Spins out of one tackle. Takes a 38 out from his own line.
And Gower up for Kamali. And Kamali's kick is very deep. That's his best of the night from Brett Kamali. It'll push New Zealand almost back to their goal line. Vainikolo has had a busy night. And he's lost it on the first, and then Kosef is knocked on. It'll be an Australian scrum feed.
He's found two knock-ons in this one, but it will be an Australian feed. And is this the start of the fight back? It's a strip there by Kamali, and I think he's found a tiny knock-on by Kosef.
Jason, just watch your arms after tackle. Don't get involved with Kearney, Stephen Kearney.
He's knocked on by an Aussie lad. He's not as familiar with Nick Kosef as he is with some of the other members of the team. Kamali drifts across from the scrum. Ross is on the inside ball. The Storm combination. And now Jason Smith down by 20 points. Jason Stevens. Can another front rower find his way over tonight? Gower and Kamali. A dart from him. Swan is waiting over the top. Rua was low. And Australia is still 5 metres out from the line. Gower to the left with Smith. A jig from Jason Smith. His Parramatta NRL teammate Ezek Kidwell to take him over the top. They're eating up the tackles here, the Australians, without posing too many questions. Fittler. We need him to come up with something. He is tackled ball and all by Paul. Now 10 metres out, and it's the last tackle. The Kiwis were all offside. They get to it, though, with Robbie Paul, and he is taken in goal line dropout.
A good play from both sides there.
Stephen, we must
Craig Gower kept his head, realised that they wanted another set of 6 through the line dropout. They'll get that. But Robbie Paul did a great job too. Have a look at this for a pickup. Under pressure, at speed, juggled the football and defused the situation.
Come on, Henry, get on with it.
New Zealand line dropout. Henry Paul gets the hurry up from Russell Smith. Deep line dropout, fielded by Ross on halfway. And back they come with Jason Stevens. Is it just me, or Michael Vella hasn't seen much game time tonight? Kosef is 25 metres out from the New Zealand line. Rua is around the legs in the tackle. Henry Paul that time over the top. And Gower infield for Britt. And now Saylor. Inside for Jason Smith. 15 out. Lowry there in defence with Craig Smith. New relation, Jason and Craig. Kamali. Again, he's sliding across the park. Logan, Swan and Kearney there that time. Australia now 10 metres out. 24 points to 4. That was the half-time score. Gower. He's 2 metres out from the line. Barnett comes over the top with Ruben Wiki. And again, it's the 5th tackle for the Aussies. Gidley. Kamali. Rush kick from Brett Kamali. Robbie Ross had hit the upright. Kidwell is knocked on for New Zealand. Well, Russell Smith has allowed play to continue. I think but for the upright, Australia would have scored.
Yeah, no luck there for the Australians. And also, I think Russell Smith, he couldn't see on this side if there was a knock-on from the man regathering. That would have had to have come from a touch judge. Yeah, Kidwell does lose the football.
Right, Ozzy.
Vanakolo, the player hurt for New Zealand. Again, that's the left winger who came in to centre field. In fact, more to the right side of the park to take the hit up. Stacey Jones's kick, fielded by Ross and Saylor. And he's able to beat one and then beat two. Got away from Lowry. Lowry's there again, the 15. Henry Paul and Nathan Kalis. Well, I'm sure even the staunchest New Zealand supporter are enjoying what they're seeing with Wendell Saylor tonight. The real star of our game, Wendell. And Australia with it on halfway. To the right side with Darren Britt. Kearney's there to lock up the ball. And eventually the tall timber is down. That's Darren Britt. 40 metres out. Australia in possession. Kamali. Opening match of the Tri-Nation Series. Dumping pass back. Fielded there by Swan.
That's a bad pass there from Nick Kossoff. He should know better than that when you're 20 points down and trying to claw your way back into a match with 30 minutes remaining. You shouldn't be throwing silly passes like this.
The seam split with that drop ball from the Australians. Lowry, quick pass, but that was forward. It's fielded by Kamali. He passed without looking, Jason Lowry. And the Aussies back. That's Darren Smith. 40 metres out from the New Zealand line.
The referee just starting to lose the 10 metres for both teams at the moment. Got to be a little bit careful they don't get too close together.
That was the pass of Lowry. I notice Michael Vella has returned for the Australians. Robbie Ross on an inside pass, and he's inside the 20 now. 24-4. Inside the final 30 now. Kamali, a lot of crossfield running. That time he linked up with Russell Richardson. Of course, there are a number of new combinations in this Australian side, but I really don't think we should be making excuses for them. I think we should be praising the Kiwis. Kamali's kick across field. And Rogers has come up with it, so Australia's still on the attack, but it is the last. Kamali's kick through again, is fielded there by Nigel Vangana. And New Zealand's last line again come away with it. This time Barnett. Ready to come back on. In fact, his first appearance for Richard Swain tonight, playing in his second test, completes the Melbourne contingent in the test tonight. There's another penalty to New Zealand.
Rodney out too early out of the blocks.
We've got the music going here at Ericsson Stadium as well.
I think, again, that's a good decision from the referee. Rodney Howe was penalised for going up too quickly. Both teams were starting to take a few liberties in the 10-metre area. And the referee needed to make a stance. He did so by awarding that penalty as New Zealand just slow the game down.
Stacey.
Everything in their favour. Stacey Jones will find touch around the halfway line.
Halfway. New Zealand on the restart. They came up quickly on Lowry. With Stevens looking to take in front on. And now Smith. Good tackle there from Fletcher. Trying to inspire his Australian teammates. He gets a pat on the back there from Michael Vella. It was a big drive on the front rower. And now Kearney settles for one. They're 45 out from the Australian line. Basically, that's the mark they started this set of 6. Here's Logan Swan. Smith up in defence with Richardson and Jason Stevens. Swain. Infield they come with Kalis. And now 35 out. It's been a good defensive set from the Aussies. This is the last tackle. Jones's kick. Let's test out Matt Rogers again. In fact, it'll be Robbie Ross who'll have to come up with the answers. He does. 10 metres out from his own line. Not happy, possibly with some interference on some of the Kiwi chasers. There's a big shot on Darren Smith. And now Wendell Saylor. To ground, just outside the 20 in the Swain tackle. They're trying to get a roll on here. Rodney Howe. I don't think he's been as effective as the New Zealand front rowers tonight. Craig Gower. To the right they come with Stevens. Jason Stevens could well be playing for a spot in the starting side next week against Great Britain at Suncorp Stadium. Gower kicking this time. He's kicked it out on the full. We'll take a break from Ericsson Stadium. 24-4. So a changeover for New Zealand, and now on the second tackle with Nathan Kalis. And 40 metres out from the Australian line. Away goes Robbie Paul. Last week, playing for Bradford against St Helens. 20 metres out now. The Kiwis on the attack. Stevens there in defence. They haven't scored since the 40th minute. Maybe something brewing here with Jones. He dummied the pass. Kearney was the man on his outside. Now Wiki. Fittler there in defence. Wiki stays alive and is passing up for Jones, and he is manhandled in the tackle of Jason Stevens. They're 15 out. And fifth tackle. Back for Paul. His kick. Can they get a result this time? Saylor. In goal takes it back to the 20. As good as you'll see from Wendell.
Wait.
Yeah, good start there from Wendell Saylor.
No, we control restarts. No, we agreed that. We agreed control restarts.
Oh, yeah, controlled restart he's after now. They were looking for the quick one. They were away. But Australia's defence it's good. It's still good. So there's still some hope, but time is really running out for them now.
Can't you have a quick controlled restart?
Apparently not.
In a side being beaten fairly comfortably, Wendell Saylor has just been outstanding.
I'll give you a reminder of what's coming up on the Widewater Sports in a moment as Australia attack 35 metres out. Fittler and Smith, they're stringing together a few passes. Here's Richardson, the momentum ends there in the Paul tackle. Robbie Paul. If they're hiding him in defence, he hasn't missed too many tonight. Wendell Saylor, he's 25 metres out. Again, it takes 2 to get him down. And 2 of the bigger men at that, Vunganar and Swan. And to the right, Kamali. Quick pass there from Fletcher, back for Kamali. 2-man tackle again. Wiki is there with Kearney. 15 out, last tackle. And Fittler running it up to the line. Passes there for Gidley, then for Rogers. Australia has their second try. Perhaps it is not over. 24 points to 8.
They took advantage of nice play from Brett Kamali the previous ruck. He attracted some outside defenders in, and all of a sudden on the last tackle it was 3-on-2 on the short side, and Brad Fittler recognised that. A good play the ball. Fittler goes to the line, offloads onto Rogers. Now look at him improve the position there. They dropped off the Kiwis, and that'll make his kick in converting just that touch easier.
Yeah, lovely hands. First of all from Fittler, then from Gidley. Look at that catch and pass. And Rogers comes around to help himself. And, it's now 24-8, hopefully 24-10. If he can get this one, Matty. And, who knows what can happen, because we do know, past history tells us that the Kiwis will tie. We saw it in the first half, the last 10 minutes. And I think we're about to start seeing it again.
Rogers has this kick. It's interesting to note that Chris Anderson has already said he'll be using Timmins and Girdler in the centres next week. So Gidley and Richardson won't be there. Of course, it's his prerogative to change his mind if he desires. Rogers successful. 24-10. Friday Night Football Tri-Nation Series. Back as we enter the final quarter of this match, and 14 points is the margin. And Matt Rogers on the back of his first Test try. Significant moment for both Matt and young Matthew Gidley tonight. There's Jason Stevens.
Did look forward from dummy half from Gower.
And a reminder of what we do have coming up this weekend on the Wide World of Sports. Tomorrow the focus is on racing. Tomorrow afternoon we'll have The Foster's Caulfield Cup. Eddie Maguire hosting all the action there. 8 races live from Melbourne between midday and 5 o'clock. And then a reminder too on Sunday evening, or rather Sunday afternoon, the Malaysian Formula One Grand Prix, and it is the championship decider. Live from Kuala Lumpur from 3:50. And right now we're watching the league with Kamali. Australia is still in trouble. That kick has ricocheted. He really hasn't played at it here.
Kiwi leg, the Kiwi played it.
Oh, that is a big call. 20 metres out, rather 30 metres out. Australian scrum fee.
I don't know how the Kiwi had time to play at it. Kamali ran to the line, looked to dribble one through, and it just seemed to rebound accidentally off one of the New Zealand players. Let's have a look. He goes to the line, kicks the football. Oh, there's no way knowing that Ruben Wiki played at that.
And here's Fittler. They're away again, Australia. Fittler will score. Fittler has scored for the Aussies, the captain. And the comeback is well and truly in motion. It was 24-4, now 24-14.
Yeah, here they come. Here they come, the Aussies. They're controlling the football. You've got to say a touch of luck has gone their way with that one. But right from the scrum, beautiful stuff there from the captain. He's about to show the rest of his team what he can do. He set up one try and he scores another. Lovely hands. Look at it. Out in front, dummies all over the place, and too much speed. He's had a great season, Brad Fittler, and he caps it off with a try as captain for Australia.
I guess he's had a mixed night, Brad Fittler, but he's still been one of their best. David Kidwell, he was the man who missed the tackle, one he should have made. Do we have a barnstorming finish from the Australians coming your way?
24-16. And Brad Fittler, the try scorer. Now 9 tries in Test football. And the most experienced player in terms of Tests in the Aussie lineup. His 25th appearance tonight.
And he's remained very upbeat, as you could see there. His body language was, come on guys, we can still do this. We saw when he came back out for the second half that his head wasn't down. And it's important that your skipper does remain optimistic. That's infectious. And hopefully the Australian players will draw off that. Ross finds Lockyer.
Well, here they come, the Australians again with Richardson. He's got away from Robbie Paul. He's left behind another. It was David Kidwell again. Australia are with it 45 metres out. And Ross infield for Smith, then for Kamali. And he's 35 metres out. He was looking for someone on the inside. I don't know where you'd put him out there right at the moment, but perhaps a fresh Darren Lockyer could prove a strike weapon right now. Craig Gower has tackled 25 metres out from the New Zealand line. Smith infield there for Vella. Now able to offload for Gidley. They attack the right again. Gidley back in for Jason Smith. The Kiwis are not putting the ground now. Stevens out the back for Gower. He's 10 metres out. He passes. Intercept for Kidwell.
It's good stuff there, but it was a good comeback this. And just, we can't look at the Kiwis all standing around now. They are just about dead on their legs, and they'll have a real hard time holding on here.
They led by 20. There's now just over 17 remaining. The margin is 8. This was at the finish. Gower's pass straight into the breadbasket of Kidwell. And he's had a rather scrappy last 5 minutes, David Kidwell. Relieved to come up with a ball.
That's the last tackle, only 32 out from their own line. Stacey Jones under a bit of pressure, gets a wonky kick away. Sailor in good field position with 6 tackles to come.
And Wendell, there's a bit of cross-country running. He's able to pass almost off the deck. Play on the call. Here's Gidley. And he ducked away there from Henry Paul, and then Smith went for the shoulder charge. Time in possession has really turned around. And with a weight of possession, so too the scoring. He who has the ball, it seems, at the moment. Lumbering forward was Rodney Howe. They need him to lift in this final period. Kamali. Inside pass for Smith. Low man in the tackle was Swain, but they've encroached inside that. At 20 metres again, they're attacking with Fittler. He's not able to pass here. 3 men in the tackle, and last it is. Can the Australians get a repeat set? Perhaps another 4-pointer. Smith floats it over the top for Darren. Darren Smith. Inside it comes for Jason. The 2 Smith balls. 15 metres out. The short kick. Richardson comes through. He makes the tackle. But New Zealand in possession. Kearney was the man who got back. Away from their own goal line. 3 tackles. Vainikolo running at Britt. They're on their own 20. You know, Brad Fittler, I read in Rugby League Week, he said he was describing this or approaching this Tri-Nation series as therapy to shrug off the disappointment of the end-of-season blues for the Sydney City Roosters. Well, I think he would have gone into some sort of seizure at 24-4, but he's bounced back in this second half. And they're right in this. 8 points the difference. Robbie Ross sliding over the 20-metre line.
They really need Darren Lockyer out there now. He's the player that could be the catalyst. In fact, Lockyer has gone on. Hasn't had a lot of football in this game, but with tiring defences up against him, he might just be the key to helping Australia get out of this predicament.
Craig Gower to the left with Kamali. Lockyer's about to get a touch, and Kamali almost away. He's sliced his way through. They're under pressure, more pressure than they've been throughout the match. New Zealand, again, it was Kidwell who really targeted him. Fittler's kick. Vainikolo will go back, and that one eludes him. Vainikolo in goal is gathered in the tackle of Robbie Ross.
Yeah, he got a bad bounce, didn't he, Vainikolo? Didn't handle it real well in the end. He thought it was going to set up for him. It's gone under him. Once again, that's a sign of tiredness setting in. The brain starting to relax and not thinking as quick as he normally would.
He must be tired a fair bit, Paul.
Very tired, mate.
Stay behind. Let's pick this 10 metres up. Let's improve the 10 metres.
Yeah, the next 5 minutes. This is it. This is where either New Zealand get together.
Peter, I think you've got to go easy on Paul. He did get us here tonight. He did navigate us superbly the 2.5-hour trip from the centre of Auckland to 10 kilometres away here at Ericsson Stadium. 5 tackles left. Darren Britt taking it forward. They're good metres, easy metres. Inside the 20 and back for Darren Smith, his Canterbury teammate. They're 10 out. Henry Paul was the tackler. There's a try coming here. Kamali, Fittler, passing up there with Lockyer. 5 metres out from the line. Robbie Paul that time in defence went low with Nigel Vangana. And they gather again. They regroup the Kiwi defence. But they are looking weary. Must go wide. Gower from dummy half. The marker was never onside. Vangana. And Gower is held up.
Joe, you know in this square.
Good call from Russell Smith.
Joe Vagana.
Played advantage. Jason Smith. Quick restart. Full set of 6 to work with. Sailor. They trail by 8. And 13 minutes remaining. Opening game of the Tri-Nation Series. Great Britain in action next week against the Aussies. And they're looking to go into that match with a win over the Kiwis under their belt. There'll be another penalty here.
Oh, gee. I thought Jason Stevens might not have got up to play that football, but it's gone Australia's way. Said the defender grabbed the foot of Jason Stevens. Another line ball decision.
And again, if you can laugh at that, Henry Paul took a quick tap. He thought the Kiwis got the penalty. Now Kamali. Oh, good tackle. It's coughed it up. Superb defence by New Zealand.
Ah, big tackle, massive tackle. Could be the match-winning tackle. What a tackle. Who made it? Ruben Wiki. Played a lot of prop footballers, we know, and that is a front rower's tackle, that one.
Rest, lads, just rest.
For a match a few seasons back with Canberra when he did a number on Adrian Lamb up on halfway. The tackle on Ross wasn't too far behind. New Zealand. Kidwell picked up in the Fittler tackle. Still able to offload for Paul. And some lovely footwork. And Robbie's away. Robbie Paul over the 30-metre line. And Lockyer is there. So who's at fullback right now as New Zealand attack? It's Ruben Wiki again. Vella's around the legs. Lockyer over the top. Robbie Ross is back now in position. And Jason Lowry. What a night. If there could be a comical irony, you'll remember October 15 for many reasons. D-Day really for the NRL. There's test match tonight. And Jason Lowry's first ever try. And to the left, Stacey Jones. Matt Rua. Sort of match with 11 remaining. You'd have to think that next scorer will win. And that's despite the fact that Australia is 8 down. Jones's kick. Rogers is the man in question. Rogers makes the take. Really Talau didn't really contest a jump there.
Well, we pointed out that New Zealand is starting to get tired, but how much petrol is left in the tank of the Australians? They had to come up with a lot of defence in the first half. Darren Lockyer getting involved. Nice split pass to Jason Smith at the wrong end of the field. Now Kamali.
Well, they're keeping it alive. At the end of it was Fletcher, and on his back was Richard Swain. Now Smith. That's Darren Smith to the 40-metre line. Almost slipped it away. It was Lockyer in support.
Play on, went backwards.
And off to the left they go. Fittler. Inside it comes for Jason Smith. 30 metres out. The support is coming. It's Richardson. And then the pass floated for Saylor. It's caught forward. Forward to Wendell Saylor.
And Wendell has said something and been penalised. And another situation where patience has probably gone out the window for the Australians. You can understand Jason Smith looking to throw this pass because it may well have led to a try, but they had the defence at 6s and 7s. Maybe a quick play the ball, the better option, as it's turned out.
Here's the signal for mouthing off.
Doesn't take him long to react to ref.
Tell you what, you've got to wrap the Kiwis' commitment there on the break there from Jason Smith. There must have been 8 black and white jumpers back there and only 2 players in support for Jason Smith. And really neither Richardson or Saylor could position themselves well. It's good scramble from the Kiwis. Swan. And of course this Tri-Nation Series, the final will be November 5 here at Ericsson Stadium. A knock on from dummy half from Swain. Big finish coming up, 8 points the difference. What does this last 9 minutes hold here at Ericsson Stadium? Friday night football. We've got the Tri-Series covered for you over the next 4 weeks. Great Britain to make their first appearance next Friday night at Suncorp Stadium. Against the Australians, our coverage from 8:30. And Australia attack, he's got a knock on, has he? Against Craig Gower, he has. I thought watching it may have been side on.
I thought you looked it forward, Greg.
Yep, got to go with the referee. Knock on a dummy half. And probably a question mark on the pass as well to Jason Stevens. So the Kiwis in possession inside their 40. Heading up the seconds. And we should mention the crowd tonight too. It's a good one for Test football. 25,392 the attendance. So the prediction was for 25,000. It's not quite capacity though. It's been that long since they've had a full house here. They weren't quite sure what the capacity was. They couldn't remember. But looking around, they could probably fit in 30, and that could be the case for the final in 3 weeks' time. So New Zealand with Jones. And then for Kearney. Kearney is 20 metres out. 24-16, New Zealand in front. And now Robbie Paul, it's the last tackle. Russell Smith shouted it 2 or 3 times. That has been played up by Smith and he's regathered. Kosev. So an ounce of luck there for the Australians. That ball could have ricocheted anywhere off Jason Smith. And he's with it on his own 30-metre line.
And Jason Smith's had a lot better second half tonight. He was a bit scratchy in the first half. As you could expect, a few of them haven't played for a month or so. But he's had a big second half. Now Kamali goes out through Gidley.
Gidley linking up there with Rogers. Now they'll go back to the left with Kamali. They're stretching them. Darren Brett turning and passing loose ball. Fletcher on the 40-metre line. And then able to make 8 metres. Then make 10. Then make 20. Brian Fletcher on the 40-metre line. Powerhouse performance tonight. Almost, well, I'm tempted to use the phrase perpetual motion for Brian Fletcher. Here's Lockyer. And then passing for Brett. Is there a try coming? Rogers, it doesn't go to hand at first attempt. And that allows Talau to come up in defence. Pass finds the mark, they probably score. Gidley, 15 metres out, the kick from Gidley. He's charging through, there's been interference there. Well, we might hear more about this one.
Having a penalty, pull the player back.
He's only ruled penalty, not penalty try.
Yeah, and that's the right call. He played advantage, played it right through till the end. There was none for the Australians, and there's no doubt that Gidley was taken out, not allowed to pursue the football. Darren Britt goes forward now. They must score in this set of 6.
Held up in the first. Swain and Lowry, the defenders. They trail by 8, they trail by 20. Fittler. Then it comes wide for Richardson. Trying to get on the outside of Vangana, who does well with Robbie Paul. Saylor at dummy half. Full width of the field to work with. Smith, the defence off their line. I think they'll accept that tackle and now have a little bit more space. Gower at dummy half. Fittler's on the blind side. That's the way they come. It comes up for Richardson. I think they'll go to the video referee.
Time off.
Richardson has certainly forced the ball, but the arm may have gone touch and goal.
Yeah, that's the only doubt as to whether the arm is on the line before the ball goes down.
Whether it was out or not, thanks.
That was always the way to go. It was 2-on-1. They recognised that. In fact, the dummy half had a little bit of a problem, I think, with the referee maybe getting in the road. Craig Gower. It's the head-on shot. Oh, I think his hand, maybe his right hand.
Yeah, it looks like it, doesn't it? He got the ball down okay, but the right hand was on the chalk first. So it should be no try right there.
Yeah, I think it's a red light. And I do think, Paul, that if the referee hadn't have been in the way, they'd have gone straight to Fittler. He'd have drawn the defender onto Gidley and they'd have scored quite comfortably.
Yeah, that's probably the case. The Aussies have looked up at the score, at the big TV screen at the back of the field, and they're all milled around. They don't think it's a try. And the Kiwis don't think it's one.
Cheers.
And I'm not saying the referee was at fault. He had to stand somewhere, of course. It just turned out that it wasn't a good position for the Australians.
20-metre restart. And up they go. In excess of 25,000 tonight. Rousing return for international football. And it comes at a time when there's been, in some quarters I've heard, the Rugby World Cup described as lacklustre so far. Certainly not the Rugby League test tonight. Full of fire.
I'll tell you what, it's been a very high standard match too, considering that, as I said, a lot of these players haven't played for a while. And some good footy out there tonight. Bad luck for Richardson there. He deserved the try. He's had a big second half as well. I always felt that I couldn't understand how Terry Hill was left out of this team. He had his best season ever, Terry Hill, but in saying that, Richardson has done a good job.
And Andrew, just on the subject of the rugby codes, the great thing about our game, we have 40 points scored here tonight. A lot of tries in 40 points.
Amen. And here's Jones, 35 metres out. He got away from Kamali rushing up. Not a good kick. Rogers has come up with it. It's just opened the door a shade for the Aussies. And back they come with Lockyer. He has mixed memories of New Zealand, that is for sure. Anzac Test last year was an unhappy occasion. So they're 25 metres out. Let's look at the clock. Inside the final 4 and 8 points the difference. So they must score in this set of 6 if Australia have any hopes of winning this match. And Jason Smith is going to put them downfield. Saylor is coming through. Back goes Richie Barnett. The ball, will it pull up for Barnett? He positions himself 1 foot over the dead ball line. And it really is an anticlimax. They will walk back to the 20.
It's no anticlimax for the home team. That one piece of play from Richie Barnett ensures a test victory.
Well, it is to be that case. It'll be for coach Frank Endicott another major triumph. Here's the work of Richie Barnett again. It's a fair call. At full stretch, he got cramp as a result. It'll be the 3rd time that Frank Endicott has coached a New Zealand side to victory over the Aussies.
And the first victory for New Zealand here at Ericsson. We'd had 2 test matches up to this stage. We've seen 1 win for the Australians, 1 draw. And now we have the full set. The Kiwis about to win this first match of our tri-series this year. And we'll see Great Britain in action next week, hoping to come up with the same result.
So Craig Smith tackled 35 metres out. We've got the horse racing tomorrow, the Caulfield Cup. Formula 1 Grand Prix on Sunday. The World Match Play Golf over the weekend. Blake Parry doing very well. And we've kicked off the weekend with a wonderful contest, 24-16. Inside the final 3 now. Australia in possession inside their 30. Gower. He can Tour positive. A number of players will have got that first test out of the way for the Aussies tonight. Saylor. And now he goes wide. 5-star performance tonight from Wendell. And so too the man who just put him to ground, Richie Barnett. Not for the first time he's taken Wendell on, front on, in the last line of defence. Kossev. Wide with Lockyer. Then for Gidley. 25 metres out. Gidley still wrestling to the end. He's 15 out. Scored their first try tonight, Matthew Gidley. Here's Rogers. Infield, Kamali. Then Fletcher. Run around with Kamali. He's 10 metres out. There's big numbers there. The pass comes over the top. Here comes the try for Richardson. Just over 90 seconds on the clock, and Richardson has scored.
Yeah, he was denied the first time, not the second time. Well done. He finishes off a beautiful movement from the Australians there. They haven't laid down, have they? The Aussies, they've shown plenty of ticker to come back after that disastrous first half. It was awful. They played really well the second half. And Brett Kamali, I think he's done well in his first game for Australia. Scything through there, saw the space out wide and finished off by the centre.
Yes, all the missed tackles in this second half have been from the Kiwis. They have got tired. They found it tough to maintain the lead, but I think they've just done enough. Richardson, he's played well, so too has Gidley. And the conversion attempt.
So you look at the try again and the handwork of the Australians. Rogers' kick from the sideline, I can report, was successful. A high ball over the top for Richardson to score. And then Rogers, this was the kick right from the sideline. And another two, and it's 24-22.
Time up. Set back.
Well, what can they muster? They may have just 2 tackles to play with. And an awkward bounce from the restart. Gidley, infield they come, they kick straight away. I don't know about that. Well, it is all over.
I can't believe that.
Henry Paul is 20 metres out.
Rodney Howe kicked the football. I cannot believe that.
Well, the New Zealand fans can start to celebrate. You don't need my cue. Wiki is tackled. Jason Lowry and Joe Bungan are on the bench, arms raised. And a night of a great triumph for New Zealand Rugby League. Don't think this is an upset. They've played fine football to win by 24 points to 22. Opening match of the Tri-Nation Series. And a reminder too about what we've got coming up this weekend as we leave you from Ericsson Stadium. The Spring Racing Carnival tomorrow.
This has been a presentation from Nine's Wide World of Sport.